All right, welcome everybody to the live stream on the channel. I just want to thank you guys so much for being here. If you've clicked on this, if you're watching it after the fact, welcome to the channel. If you're here, awesome. Hope for Life, thank you for coming into the chat and talking about superhero movies. That's what we're going to do today. We're going to talk about the superhero movies of 2026 and what is going to be the best one. Right? What is going to happen in 2026? Because we have a lot of stuff coming, down the pipeline. This is a couple of years away, but I figure why not talk about it? Because it'd be kind of fun. Thanks, guys, so much. First of all, I mean, the subscribers have skyrocketed. First off, and that's kind of incredible to me. I've been trying to come to terms with that over the last couple weeks, and it's been kind of mind blowing. So thank you guys so much for subscribing and coming and watching the videos. It means a lot to me that we share this kind of love for movies and this passion for movies. Movies are my life. Movies are what I love. I love to make things and create things and all sorts of stuff. So this means a lot to me to be building this community and sharing the love, right? And we do have a line, so you can actually call the number and talk to me via Skype. Just obviously, you are consenting to me using your voice. This is going to be posted on the channel. So if you want to call in, obviously, Hope for Life, I have to support. Does Warner Brothers pay me? Not at all. And if you notice, we have lovely Superman and we have lovely 89 Batman up here. So it's all DC every day. And some Star Wars. We got some Darth Vader. My mom actually got me that. It's like a welcome sign that you're supposed to put outside, but I don't want to put it outside because why would you want it to be ruined by the rain and the weather and the storms and all the craziness? So I keep it inside. It's right there. But anyways, yeah, man, I just want to say thanks so much for coming through. And you're awesome, dude. Hope for Life, you've been supporting from the time. So I took a little backstory. I took some time off from the channel. I was doing live streams kind of every week, but the growth just wasn't there. And then life happened and I got busy doing other things. And then I took about almost a year off. And then I came back and I decided, well, let's do this again because I really love to talk about these things. And then once I came back, it just seems like there are so many people here now and commenting and sharing opinions. I don't know if I just hit it at the right time, like with the DCU about to be right around the corner and all this other stuff. And I don't know, I just hit it at a time where people just started, or the YouTube algorithm just took me and it just keeps taking me places. So I'm here for it. I'm buckle up and, go for the ride is what I've been doing the last couple weeks. But yeah, Hope for Life, good to see you here. Let's get right into it, man, and let's figure out what we're doing. So 2026 is a big year for superhero movies. We have Avengers Doomsday, which has Robert Downey Jr. coming back as Dr. Doom. That's wild in itself. We have Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, which is a DCU James Gunn project. Okay, and then we have The Batman 2, okay, which is an Elseworlds Matt Reeves project, a sequel to The Batman with Robert Pattinson. All right, and then we have, what's the other one? What's the other one that I'm missing? Oh, Spider-Man. Spider-Man 4 with Tom Holland. I mean, come on. Spider-Man 4 with Tom Holland. And those are your movies. We're mainly superhero movies, right? The whole question here is, what is going to be the best movie, the best superhero movie of 2026? And that is a stacked list, okay? To the point where I'm like, how? And you look at the list and you're just like, can I survive that? Like emotionally, like what is Doomsday gonna do? And what is, and Supergirl is the most, I think, intriguing project because we don't know anything about that, right? The other ones we pretty much know the gist, or we've experienced the world at some point. Whereas this one with Supergirl, I think that's the one that's got me the most intrigued because we know nothing. And it's going to be based off of the Woman Tomorrow comic book or graphic novel, which I haven't read yet. We'll probably do that at some point. I might even review that on the channel. That might be cool. But that movie's not coming again until summer 2026. So I probably won't read that for a while if I do decide to read that. But yeah, so let's start off. And again, the lines are open. The line is open. This is the number. So during the live, if anybody wants to call in, again, it's just your voice. It's not your image, right? It's not your face. It's just your voice. And we should be able to. I hope that I don't echo during the call. If I echo during the call, hopefully someone can let me know, because I don't want to echo during the call. I don't know if that'll happen or not. But first and foremost, let's talk about it, man. Spidey. Okay? I'm grabbing the wrong image. Here we go. Spidey 4. Now, if you guys have not seen the previous one, Goated Shirt, thank you. I wish I could pronounce your name. Okay, you're coming back in a bit. That's awesome. Thank you, thank you. Hope for Life, what do you say? Avengers Doomsday or Supergirl will be the best. Avengers just better not be woke. Supergirl is what I'm most excited for. Yeah, I kind of agree with you. Just because, like I said, it's the most unknown property. It's the most intriguing to me. And the other ones, I just kind of know what I'm going to get. And it's not to say that those aren't going to be good movies, but Supergirl really, the whole DCU, right? We have no idea. So that has the ability to just kind of be fresh even, right? It's the freshest one in the list. So just by it being the new one on the block, the new property, the new one, that might give it the leg up. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. Also, too, I just want to say that by watching the live streams and interacting and doing this, it kind of increases the watch time a ton. And that's kind of what we're battling right now. I would love to get the watch time up. We've obviously passed the subscriber milestone, but if you guys could help and get those watch hours up, and if we can get monetized, that opens up a huge variety of fun things that we're able to do on the channel, right? Interactions, giveaways, all sorts of stuff that we are able to do here, and just kind of make this experience a lot more better, a lot more better for you and for everyone involved, and it just grows the channel. And like I said before, I think the thing that separates me from everybody else out there, right? Because you probably come to this and you're like, well, what separates, why are you different? What makes you different? The thing is, people talk about movies, right? There's people that talk a lot about movies, but I've never seen and there's like the filmmaking side of YouTube, but I've never actually seen the crossover of a filmmaker that talks about movies and that also makes films, and that's where I fit in. I'm an active filmmaker. I edit for a living. It is what I do as my job. And so instead of going the straight, I just make filmmaking content on the channel or I talk about movies on the channel, I'm trying to do both and give you a certain perspective from a filmmaker's perspective on popular IP and popular movies, and just an overall general happy place to be and a more positive place to be. I don't like to hate on movies, right? Obviously, there are some movies that kind of go a little too far or are not, or are made with the wrong intentions, right? If you ask me personally, my opinion, the Star Wars sequel trilogy was not made well, and they had a different agenda when they made those movies. That's just my opinion. I think those movies could have been a lot better, and in my opinion, they had no plan. So it was a mess. And if you put your agenda before your story and your characters, I think that does a disservice to the audience, and that does a disservice to the movies. And I'm all about what serves the movie. Make the best movie that you possibly can. Okay? Tell the best story that you possibly can. And these characters have a history. Okay? often almost, 100 years, almost 100 years, not quite 100 years, but a lot of these characters have been around for a long, long time. And this is the stuff that we love. And I think you got to pay attention to what we're saying. And I think movie studios are just now realizing, Hollywood is in shambles right now, first and foremost, okay? I got friends in the industry that, it's a struggle. And if things don't turn around, that industry is probably going to fall to its knees, okay? The theater system, right? Who knows if that's going to be around. The theaters want to do one thing, the streamers want to do another thing, the studios want to make their own streaming service so they can bypass the theater experience. Audiences, I think, want to go to the theater, but it's too expensive because the budgets of these movies have skyrocketed and nobody seems to care. The people that make the money just want to milk you for your money. And I love movies. So what am I going to do? Am I just going to not go see the movies? No. I'm going to go see the movies that I want to go see. Okay? I'm a massive Harry Potter fan, but I'm a massive Spider-Man fan, for instance. So pretty much, and you could be like, oh, blah, 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 whatever. Pretty much anytime they make a Spider-Man movie, I'm going to be hyped for that, and I'm going to see it just because I love Spider-Man. Look at the Spider-Verse animated films. Those are some of the best animated films we've ever seen. Okay, in modern cinema, in my opinion, especially an IP like Spider-Man, I was blown away by Spider-Verse. I did not think that it was going to be that incredible, okay? But clearly, it is huge, and it's amazing, and I watched that a ton. I haven't watched it in a while, but I watch it a lot, so, they're doing good. Hope for Life, what do you say? He says, totally agree with you. We have had problems with Marvel pushing some agenda, so I'm more excited for the DCU since Gunn says that the storytelling will be king and they will give quality time. I definitely agree with you. I think Marvel did a lot of stuff wrong after Endgame. And I think a lot of that has to do with the change to Chapek, the CEO. They changed CEOs right around that time. Bob Iger left and did some crazy, stupid stuff where he put middlemen in between Marvel and him. And basically, from everything I've heard, Chapek just wanted to make money. And they just had the streaming service. So he was make content for the streaming service, and then quality kind of went out the window. And people with agendas come in, and some of that is merited, and some of that I don't think is merited. It's a toss-up, but there are definitely people, again, I think the Star Wars is a prime example of just what happened there, what a disappointment. It's it was the most watched teaser trailer, The Force Awakens. It was the most watched teaser trailer ever when Finn comes up in the stormtrooper suit and everything, and they just did the character of Finn a disservice, man. And it's because, and I believe this, it's because they were afraid of what people would think. Okay, this is my opinion. This is because I think they were afraid what they would think if they made a black man a main character of a Star Wars franchise. So they pushed him to the background. They were afraid of what that, and I think that's so silly to me, because John Boyega is an incredible actor. John Boyega would have made that trilogy incredible, and he should have been a Jedi. Anyways, I'm going on a tangent. People are like, why are you talking about, why are you talking about Star Wars? I'm talking about Star Wars because I want to talk about Star Wars. That's the other thing. I will kind of go maybe on some tangents a little bit. So I got this cool Spider-Man little water bottle that I drink every day. Got to stay hydrated. But yeah, you mentioned Gunn talking about how he's going to have quality. And that is, that's why we go to the movies, man. That's how your movies are going to be successful, man. It all starts with the script. It all starts with the script. If you don't have a script, okay, which a lot happens. Okay, there are literally productions that are just, I mean, they announced these movies. So look at Blade. Look at was happening with Blade. They announced Blade in 2019 before they had a director, before they had a script. All they had was Mahershala Ali. They brought him on stage and they said, we're going to make Blade. Did they have a script? No. So you're right, Hope for Life. When Gunn straight up said, nope, we're putting story first and we're not putting anything into production until we have the script. I was like, I mean, it's the most common sense thing on the planet, but like, it's like, no, duh. And just how much money, like, do you realize how much money that wastes? Because they pay, whether Blade gets made or not, Mahershala Ali has gotten paid since 2019. You know, it's not like, you know what I'm saying? They've been paying him money. Disney has been putting money in his pocket. Has he shot a frame of that movie? No, not at all. Like, what are we doing here? Like, you know, what are we doing here, guys? It's just the massive amount of time wasting and money wasting. And people, you know, you might be like, oh, well, why do you care? And I care because this affects my industry. I care because this affects what I love, right? It affects the quality of the movies that I love. It affects the movie-going experience, right? It affects everything. It touches every aspect. You know, you might think, oh, well, you know, why do we need a good script? You know, there was a comment on one of the Superman videos that I did, the top 8 video that I did, and I talked about how I want a Superman and Lois romance, okay? And I don't know how they interpreted that. I know, like, the way that I interpret that, maybe they interpreted it differently, but they were basically like, I don't want any of that in the movie. I just want, I don't know what they said. They said something like they don't want any sort of romance whatsoever, and they want just like Superman fighting or something. I don't know what they weren't very clear on what they wanted and why they wanted it, but it seemed like he didn't want any romance at all. And I was like, huh? Like, then it's not a movie. Like, it's not a movie. And it's certainly not a Superman movie, because, and literally, same thing with all of these heroes. Like, everything that we love, it is about the supporting cast, right? With Spider-Man, it's like, you don't have a Spider-Man movie without the Harry Osborns or the Mary Janes, or, you know, the Aunt Mays, you know, or the, and I think they said something like, oh, every movie has had that in the past, and like, you know, why can't it be different? You know, every superhero movie has had a love story, and it's like, well, yeah, that's what makes it good. Like, that's what makes it good. Like, Sam Raimi, the whole story of, you know, the girl next door and Tobey Maguire, you know, going from a nerd to getting the girl, and then that whole thing about how at the end, you know, with great power comes great responsibility, and sometimes you can't have everything that you want. And the fact that he had to let go of her is the core and is the through line of that film. And that's why we love that movie. Obviously, yes, the action and everything is great, but it's because we care about Toby, right? It's because we care about him. And then we go into the second one and he still gets beat up, right? Same thing with Superman, right? And I think the synopsis of James Gunn's Superman talks about how the movie is going to deal with Clark Kent being an alien and then being the farm boy. And it's going to balance those, you know, he's going to be dealing with being an alien on a human planet in a human world. And I think it'll be interesting because, especially if it's modern day, which I think it's like a mixture. I don't really know what time period it is. But if you think about it, with social media, we have become less and less human as time has gone on. So if it is a modern day telling of Superman, and he's an alien, and he's trying to, you know, come to terms with his alien heritage, but also what it means to be here on Earth and giving and observing us as a people, I think there's a lot of stuff that James Gunn is going to be able to say about our society. And yeah, you better believe there's going to be romance in my Superman movie. You better believe it. Cause yeah, and James Gunn obviously made the Guardians movies, man. Like all you got, like, you know, the romance and the friendship of Rocket Raccoon, right, and Groot. That is the backbone, right, and the love of Yondu and Peter Quill. That is the backbone of these movies, bro. You don't have cinema, you don't have movie without love and without right? It doesn't exist. Unless you just want to make some artsy movie, which is cool, but that's not the business. That's not what we're into. That's not what we do here, okay? You have your artsy community, and that's cool. That's not the type of movies that I watch, okay? I'm a very firm believer of there needs to be a character arc. I like character arcs. Give me a character that's got a problem, and let me watch them solve that problem. That is the whole point. That is the journey that I want to go on with these characters. Okay, if a character doesn't change, I feel shorted. I feel like I've wasted my time with the movie. Okay, and it doesn't have to be a big change, but I've had discussions with people in the past, and they're like, "Well, characters don't have to change," and that's true, but sort of not true, because any amount of change is required in a movie. That's what I believe. Again, you can argue that. And I'm sure there are examples, but there's always a change of some kind. Either a change of circumstance or, you know, doesn't need to be a big change. I'm not saying like they become, you know, Wolfman or something. You know, it's like, oh, a guy is perfectly fine. And then, you know, he gets bitten and then he becomes a werewolf, you know, so it is what it is. Right, and Hope for Life, you say, yeah, that's also how comics work. Yeah, I mean, it's just classic storytelling. But anyways, that's my rant. Thanks, guys, for checking in. And it looks like we got 12 views so far. That's awesome. Can I check the? Can I check this thing here? Let's see. Oh, I don't want to end the poll. I just want to look at it. All right, so far in the poll on the chat here, we have what will be the best movie, superhero movie of 2026. We got 60% say Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, 20% say Spider-Man 4, another 20% say Batman 2, and 0% for Avengers Doomsday, which is kind of shocking. I did not think that was going to be the outcome that we had so far. Maybe that'll change over the course of the show, but wow. But I mean, we've decided 5 votes so far, so that could change. But the fact that Avengers has 0%, I mean, this is a small sample pool, obviously, but whoa, wasn't expecting that one. Anyways, so let's talk about Spider-Man 4. Okay, let's bring this back up. One thing, and again, you guys can call that number on the screen and you can talk to me and give me your opinions. Again, it'll just be your voice. It's not your face. It's not your image. You can use your phone. Boom. You can call me and give me your opinion on the show and we can talk. Or you can go in the live chat. It's totally fine. Either one. Let's see. Hope for Life, you say, that's like you said before. We've all seen the Avengers movies and we know how that's going to work for the most part. Yeah, I think Marvel has a big hill to climb, and I don't know if they're going to get over it, to be honest with you. The thought of superhero fatigue comes up a lot, and people are like, oh, are people done with superhero movies? And it's always tough because I was a superhero fan before any of the movies popped off, really. You know, I grew up, you know, a Batman fan first and foremost. I watched all the Batman movies growing up as a kid. And then as I was, you know, growing up, then Tobey's movies came out. And then Andrew's movies came out when I was in college. And the Marvel Universe kicked off when I was in high school. So it's just always been here. And it's always been a part of my life. So I don't think I'll ever get fatigue. Unless they're just absolutely garbage, which they kind of have been. the last few years. I will be honest. I mean, I don't know, man. The Batman, I think maybe the Batman has been the most refreshing of all of it over the last couple years. I thought, you know, I did think that the Snyder Cut was really cool, because it was Zach's vision, and I was like, oh, I'm down for that. And in uninterrupted Zach vision, sign me up, because Warner Brothers did him dirty, and Warner Brothers just like didn't let him do what he wanted to do, and forced him to do all sorts of stuff, and messed up his plan. And I don't like that. Let filmmakers make the movies that they want to make. But anyways, I went on another mini rant. So there you go. There's the mini rant. But hey, we have Spider-Man 4 is coming out. Isn't that coming out July? I think that's coming out like July 24th. Right? Let's see. Hope for Life. What do you say? I don't think superhero fatigue is real. It's just that the stories that we've been getting have been trash, like you said. If they're not good, if they're not a good story, why would anyone want to see the film? I mean, yeah, that's what I agree. It's like, it's the old saying of like, if you build it, they will come, right? You know what I'm saying? Field of Dreams. It's a great movie, by the way. But it's the same thing. It's like, you can't deny a good story, okay? You just can't. You write a good story, you're gonna get people's butts in the seats. You may want to drop the ticket price a little bit, because I agree, movie ticket prices are outrageous. That's definitely keeping people from the theater. Okay, let's not kid ourselves. Okay, people actively don't go to the movie theater because the tickets are too expensive. All right, and it frustrates me because it's deterring people and it's deterring families, and it's sad to see. But anyways, Spider-Man is coming out. When is Spider-Man coming out? Let's take a look. Spider-Man 4. I think it's funny. Tom Holland went out on, I think it's Jimmy Kimmel, and he announced it, and there were a couple people that were like, oh, did you see that the Spider-Man 4 was announced? And I was like, I've known about Spider-Man 4 for months. Like almost probably going on a year now, right? Because I don't know. It's just interesting when you're plugged in, like I am, and it's just it's funny to see when the general public finds out about things, and you're like, I've been here for a while. So they say July 2026. I think it's the 24th, July 24th, 2026. Now there were reports that it was a battle between. Yeah, July 24th, I think so. He said it's a battle between if it's going to be a multiverse movie or if it's going to be a street-level hero movie. Because, spoilers for No Way Home, Peter Parker's got, I don't want to spoil everything, but Peter Parker's got to do something. Things go down, multiverse shenanigans happen, and everybody forgets who Peter Parker is in the universe. All of his friends, all of the Avengers, everybody forgets who he is. So he's back at square one. And there's no Tony, there's no Stark Tech, there's no nothing. Okay, at least that's what they set us up. That's how they left us. He's got the coffee, or the hot chocolate, or the coffee, or whatever he got at the end of it, I can't remember. He's sewing his own suit, he's doing his own thing. Okay, classic Spider-Man. What some people would probably have wanted for a long time. And you got the new suit. The new suit is on the screen right now, with the spider, with the big spider. I was never really a fan of that tiny little spider. I was never a fan of that. We got a nice big spider. 2 thumbs up. Nice big spider. So I'm really loving the new suit. It's very shiny. It looks very sexy going through the snow. In that final shot, we get that final swing during the Christmas time. So I'm excited to see this suit in action. Let's see. Hope for Life, what do you say? I hope it's not a multiverse movie. I'm getting sick of it since it's so confusing to me. Yeah, I'm kind of done with the multiverse thing too. And And really, what more are you going to do here? I don't know. And this comes after Doomsday. So there are rumors that this is going to take place on Battle World, or like Doomsday is going to set up, obviously set up Secret Wars. And so this Spider-Man 4 is going to take place on Battle World, or like some sort of version of whatever Doom creates, I guess. Which I'm like, okay, I guess. I mean, I don't know. We're so early in the process. They start shooting. I think the script is almost done. Like, the script is in a good spot. I know Tom said that they read it and it's got him fired up, which doesn't really mean anything to me. Of course, it's like actor says movie that they're in is going to be great. Well, yeah, of course. Of course. He wants you to buy tickets. He wants you to put millions of dollars in his pocket, which he deserves. I think he's the face of Marvel going forward. Now, here's the trick, and this is the problem, is Marvel doesn't own the rights. Marvel Studios, they don't own the rights to Spider-Man. Okay? Sony owns the rights to Spider-Man. That's why we've been getting subpar Sony Spider-Man movies recently, is because, for some reason, Sony is anti-Spider-Man. I don't know what happened here, but for some reason, they're like, oh yeah, we're going to make these Spider-Man spin-offs, but we're not going to put Spider-Man, the guy that we paid for, the guy that we own, we're not going to put him in any of these movies. That makes absolutely no sense to me. And I just don't know how Sony I don't know how Sony functions. I don't understand it. It's like, yes, let's make a Madam Web movie. Who's asking for that? Who pitched that idea? How did that meeting go down? How come nobody at Sony, even with Venom, like, I just don't understand. I don't get it. And clearly, I think that's the thing. They got lucky with the first Venom because Venom is a huge character, right? Everybody knows who Venom is, at least by look, right? They may not know the story behind Venom. So they're just seeing Venom, okay? And they're just like, and then they go see the Venom movie and they're like, well, that was fun. And like, that was a good movie. That was great. And I remember seeing that first Venom movie, and one of the first shots is of the spaceship crashing, right? And I remember sitting in the theater, and it's like a wide shot of the spaceship, and it's falling. And they don't cut inside the ship at all. There's no interior shots of the space shuttle. And I remember from the jump, I cracked up. I started laughing. And my buddy looked at me like I was crazy because I just started cracking up. And I leaned to him and I said, they're not cutting inside the ship. And that to me just like, it set the tone immediately for me. Because normally in a big blockbuster movie like that, you would cut into the ship and you'd see the pilot, you'd see the astronauts, you'd see the pilot, you'd see them, frantically moving around and the chaos. But this was just like it was totally just like, it was comedic effect. And most comedies cut to a wide shot anyways when they want to accentuate a joke, right? Usually it's like, ha ha ha, and then the joke will play out in the wide shot. So that just immediately clicked into my brain, and I knew what kind of movie it was. And it was a little disappointing, because I'm like, I don't necessarily think my Venom is not a comedic Venom. My Venom is a foe to Spider-Man. So they're fine movies, I guess. I just don't really enjoy the Venom films. But the Spider-Man is said to be a multiverse movie, which but is that going to then lessen the impact of No Way Home? Right? We all watched No Way Home. So if we're going to get another multiverse, and if everyone's going to somehow remember Peter again, which I hope they don't do. That's the thing. You can't set up something and then in your next movie just act like it never happened. Okay? That ticks me off. That pisses me off. It's like, what? Like, no. That's lazy filmmaking. That's lazy screenwriting. And you, as an audience member, don't deserve that. Okay? You don't deserve that. And I want you to know that. Because this is what I feel, and this is what I think when I watch movies like that. And I go, wait, hold on, wait. And it makes me mad. Not to the point where I'm like, I'm not gonna ride in the streets or anything, but it irritates me. And it's a lazy storytelling. It's lazy filmmaking, lazy writing, and we deserve better. Hopefully, we will get better with James Gunn's DCU. That's what I'm hoping. I'm talking a lot. My voice is going, but that's okay. But yeah, so I think this has a chance to be a very good movie if they let Tom, and Tom's a producer on this one. This is the first movie that Tom Holland actually has producer credit on, and so he's got a little bit more say of what happens with this movie. You know what I'm saying? So it could be, that could be a good thing or that could be a bad thing. I got no clue. I got absolutely no clue. Are we going to be able to pull this one up? Anthony Perez is here. He says, hey bro, good to see you doing a stream. Congrats again on all of your recent success on this channel. Thank you so much, my friend. Anthony also does movie reviews. Guys, you got to go check him out and you got to go subscribe, okay? Because he actually, I think personally for me, he's one of the best people on camera that I've seen in terms of like movie reviewers. I think, because like I tend to ramble a lot, but he's got it, man. I'm telling you. I really enjoy listening to him speak about movies. He's just got a way of talking that is like so relaxed, but like to the point, and just, I don't know, man. I don't know how to describe it other than he just knows how to do it. I don't know. He's got the secret sauce. I don't know if he likes how he structures his movie reviews or what, because I should probably structure mine more than just a ramble, but you know what it is. And if you're new here, if you're checking it out, subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to both of our channels, because we talk about movies, man. And like I said before, I want to grow this channel to be a place where not only do we talk about movies, but we actually make movies. That is going to be a huge part of the future of this channel. I am a filmmaker first and foremost. That is what I love to do. I love to talk about these movies, but my goal is to actually make a film. I want to make a movie. So to have you guys here to kind of witness that journey is what it's all about, right? You guys are going to be able to kind of hopefully see my career grow as I write the film and as that all goes down. What's cool about building the community like this is when it comes time to find distribution for the movie per se, right? Distribution companies and whoever wants to fund the movie or buy the movie, they're going to be able to see this community and they are going to be able to know that there's an audience that wants to see the film. So that's kind of the goal here, is to have something solid that we can build the film on. That's my goal. And I want it to be something that we all enjoy and that we're all excited about. Like that's the thing. My movie is the best way I can describe my film is it's a Halloween adventure film. Obviously my birthday just happened a few days ago. So it's right around Halloween, and I like holiday centered movies, right? And they're usually a little easier to sell to a studio or a distributor. So focusing on a holiday market film is what I wanted to do. None is better than Halloween, I think, because you get free production design, because people got the pumpkins and they got all the Halloween stuff, right? So there's if we shoot around Halloween time or the fall, there's already built-in production design. So I'm trying to think. I'm thinking about it strategically. We're still writing. I can read the log line to you maybe later or something if you guys want. I don't know how much I'm going to reveal quite yet, but I would love to do streams literally where we're just chatting and I'm just writing the script. I think that would be really cool. I can talk to you guys about my thought process, and you guys can just see the script writing process. And literally we document as much as we can from now until the completion of the movie. And if you guys are, I think that's the big thing, is you guys should never stop dreaming, because, as we get older, people, tend to be like, oh, you should just give up on that dream. You should just, oh, why? Even with the YouTube stuff, there are people that have been like, why are you doing that? Why? Well, I'm doing this because I love talking about stuff. I love talking about movies. I talk about movies every day of my life. Okay? I talk about movies at work. I talk about movies outside of work. I promote DC. I promote Warner Brothers, and they don't even pay me. Okay? I'm a walking billboard for these characters and these companies. But whatever. And I just want to find like-minded people. And I think that that's been the biggest surprise to me coming back a year later, is I'm like, oh, wow. Like, there are people here that are as excited as me. And I don't know, that gets me fired up. I mean, obviously, I'm gonna make my movie and I'm gonna talk about stuff and do all this stuff anyways. But to have people like you guys here that, we have different opinions, which is so important for good art, okay? Because if everyone has the same opinion, and if everyone is in the same think group, well then it becomes nothing. Our art becomes bland. Our art needs to say something. Our art needs to reflect current society. Our art needs to inspire us to be better people, right? Or inspire us to push society into a certain direction. And so I'm saying all of this because, and people be like, oh, it's like, you know what? But I want to be one of those filmmakers. You know what? I'm saying it right here on camera. I want to be one of those filmmakers. I'm not saying I'm going to be a James Cameron. I'm not saying I'm going to be a George Lucas. But damn it, I want to make a good movie. I want to make a good movie that people, and after they watch it, they go, not only did that make me think, but that made me feel something, and I cared about the characters, and I had a great time watching your film. Right? That's all I want. That's all I want. I want to make a movie that people can watch and go, that was really good. Because it's my first movie, right? So I'm not expecting it to be, I'm not George Lucas. I'm not going to reinvent the wheel, right? We're 100+ years into filmmaking. So I'm not trying to make something that's going to reinvent the wheel. I just want to tell a story. And I just want to tell a good story that inspires people. So that's my thing. What's Anthony saying here? He says, I appreciate your kind words, brother. That's kind of a funny way to say that. Don't downplay yourself, though. You've always been great. And you have, I can't even read. And to have you on, and I've gotten the secret sauce, too. And I've got the secret. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. What would be your dream movie to make? Maybe not the specifics of the story, but in terms of scale and genre. Scale and genre. I'm big into, obviously, the movies that I love are Superman movies, Marvel movies, right? It's no secret, Harry Potter, it's no secret that is the wave that I ride. So definitely something, and I just love, and it's the era that we grew up in, right? I think that influences a lot of people, right? We grew up with the boom of visual effects, right? A lot of things that are now possible were not possible when we were young, and we were able to see technology be pushed. A lot thanks to George Lucas, mind you. I feel like George Lucas is being pushed into the background of history, and I kind of hate that. So just letting you know, none of this would be possible. A lot of what we're doing here, the digital, all this sorts of stuff, the digital camera that I'm shooting on right now, the wireless microphone, the editing software that you use, the editing software that I use, the 3D software that I use at work, none of that would be possible without George Lucas. So just saying, put some respect on that man's name, because I fear that someday we're gonna live. We are, and it's sad, but someday we're gonna live in a world where George Lucas is no longer with us, and people don't care about history anymore, it seems. And it makes me sad because, and it's, you know, whatever, it might be trivial, but like film history is important to me, okay? He provided me the tools, right? Like this man is responsible for my passion, for being able to facilitate the equipment that I use on a day-to-day basis that makes my heart sing and that makes me happy. And so we will always champion him here on this channel. He is the man. Okay? And even if you hated the prequels, I don't care. Those movies are special in their own right. So yeah, don't be dogging. Don't be dogging on those movies. You can say that they're not good because I agree with you. They're not the greatest movies in the world, but they are definitely some of the most important movies ever made. Just saying. Anyways, all that to answer your question of what kind of movie would I want to make? I want to make like fantasy movies, I guess, but I want to push it. You know, I really want there to be a nice mix of practical and visual effects. I'm a big fan of visual effects. Visual effects can be done well if you're given enough time, and if you're thought out, and if you plan all your shots out, and if you go in with a plan. A lot of times, obviously, look at Ant-Man and Quantumania, whatever that was called. I forget what that. Anyways, that was a movie. That was a piss poor movie that was shot on a green screen, and it looks like they had no planning. Okay, look at MODOK. Look at, like, all of that is rushed. So we make movies. I make movies that are not rushed. I've been writing my script not very steadfastly or whatever it is, not very rapidly, but I've been chipping away at my script and my story for probably a year now. And that's, some people might think that's a long time. That's not really a long time. Because I said, I could write anything, okay? I could be like, all right, I'm going to spend a day, or I'm going to spend a week, and I'm going to write something, and then I'm going to go make a movie. Anybody can go make a movie. But making a good movie is hard to do. Okay, figuring out what your story is and figuring out what your characters are. I do know that my main characters are brothers. Okay, I grew up an only child. I didn't have a brother, so I think there's something to be said about brotherhood, and you know, the camaraderie of brothers that I really didn't get to experience. So I guess I'm going to explore that in this movie. There are male friends that I've had that are like brothers to me, right? And some of them we've fallen out and we no longer talk, right? And I think a lot of male figures have those experiences, okay? I'm sure there's a lot of people out there, because if I've experienced it, I'm sure other people have, where you thought somebody was, you were so close to an individual, right? A friend, and then you're just, for whatever circumstance, you're just not close to them anymore. So that's something that I would like to explore with my movie. Just really looking personally into my life and kind of exploring that and putting that on the screen. I don't necessarily know what that is exactly, but it's going to tell the story of the brothers and obviously the father figure that's in the movie. I kind of grew up without my father, and so I'm coming at it from that aspect of, you know, what does that look like? What is fatherhood? I don't have any kids of my own, but if I had kids of my own, what would that be like, right? And so I'm going to put all of that into this movie and kind of explore all those themes, because that's what resonates with me, right? When I sat down to make my movie, I said, all right, what do I want to make a movie about? And I was like, I want to make a movie about fathers and sons, because that is a huge part of things that I've experienced in my life, and there are some and things that I didn't get to experience in my life. And I feel like it's a story that I can tell very well, and I will give time and attention to. So hopefully that answers your question. I don't know. That was kind of a rant, but here you go. What do we got? Any more questions? Does anybody have any more questions? Oh, I do want to get something. Here, I'll show you. I'll go get you. I'll go get... Can I pull that? I think I can pull that. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Tis loud, tis loud. Ooh. Oh, I should go the other way. I should go the other way. Hiya! All right, let's check this out. Get the headphones back on. All right, so this is what I use initially early on. This is called the Story Clock Workbook, okay, by plotdevice.co. So if you go to plotdevice.co, if you're interested in making a movie, I highly recommend this. So this the one that I grabbed 2 of these books. So I don't think I wrote in any of this, in this one. But it's a clock formation, okay? And what you're able to do is you plot your ideas. You can do idea generating, and then you write it out. And you basically map your story out in a circle, right? And it just helps you kind of get like a bird's eye view of your story, and so that you can see where like your setups and your payoffs are. So if you set something up in the first act, you can go diagonal and you can be like, okay, well, I can pay that off right at the exact diagonal point on the story clock. And so you make sure that you've paid that off. And it's a cool way to map out your story. So I highly recommend it if you guys are into writing or want to make a movie or whatever. Check it out. It's a cool resource. It's got like genre stuff in here on the back, right? And like page counts, how long your script should be. It is awesome. And they're not that expensive. I got 2 of them, and it really just kind of gives you, because a lot of times you're like, where do I start? You know, I was like, I don't even know where to start. So I found this resource, and it is awesome. They are not sponsoring anything on this channel. Maybe they will someday. That'd be pretty cool. I'd be down for that. Maybe I should get in contact with them. See if they want to sponsor some stuff on the channel. That'd be sweet. I would totally be down, because I do like them. Let's see. What does Anthony say? He says, what do you think is the worst comic book movie? Ooh, the worst comic book movie. That is a good question. Morbius was tough. I have not seen Madam Web. I will be honest with you. I haven't seen Venom 2. I haven't seen Venom 3. I've gotten to the point in my life, you know, I guess I'm getting older. So time is precious. And I'm just like, nope, I'm not seeing that. Like, if it looks bad to me, I'm not seeing it. Maybe back in the day I would have been like, oh, I'm going to go see everything. But now that I'm older, I don't go see everything. So, but Morbius was... I think Morbius physically hurt my body watching that movie, because I was excited for that. So it's like a pain. It was like literally the joy vampire was sucking the joy out of me as I was watching that movie. Because I was like, this movie can't really be that bad. And it just kept getting worse and worse. And then they do like the final battle, and it was all just like unnecessary CG that was all dark. A lot of times what they love to do, and this irritates me, is you'll see a battle that is completely at night, and that's all just to hide the completely crappy VFX that they pulled off. A lot of times you watch the breakdown, you can watch VFX breakdowns, and a lot of times I would say 90% of the frame, 90% of the image is just removed and completely redone. And you're like, what's the point? You know, like why are we not shooting on actual locations anymore? Why are we replacing 90% of the frame with CG and poorly exposed? It's not even exposed. I can't even tell what's going on. What a waste of money. And not only that, what a disrespect to the artist that spent years working on the shot, okay? That's another thing that you got to understand, is that artists spend years of their life in front of a computer working on a shot, and then they go to the movie, and it's completely like, I don't know, in the grade, because, you color grade, after, you do your thing, and then you color grade, which is like applying a look to the movie, right? Where you go in and you adjust the exposure and the color and the whatever, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, you might have an artist who works on this great shot, and then it goes to the grade, and then the colorist literally just like turns the brightness down. Excuse me? They're just in there and they just go, just lower the exposure. Just make it dark. Just dark. We just want it to be dark. And then it's not the colorist's fault, because it's a note. It's a note from the producer, right? Or it's a note from the director, or whoever's sitting in that chair next to them. And they go, I want that to be darker. It's like, excuse me? Right? That's kind of how I feel about, Zack Snyder. His films are gorgeous, right? He is a cinematographer at heart. But a lot of times, and I don't know if it's just he's gotten the way that he's gotten and he feels like that's his style, but a lot of times I'm like, bro, I can't really see like all the great work that your artists are doing here. I can't see it. I would love to be able to see movies. And you know why? This is also a reason. It's because digital cameras have become so good at like the dynamic range, which is like how light things can be in the frame and how dark things can be in the frame. Digital cameras have gotten so good that it's made people lazy with exposing their image properly. So they just go, we don't need to worry about exposure because we can just bring it up in post. Or, we don't need to care about clipping our highlights. We'll just bring it down in post. We have the dynamic range. And a lot of times, that's not the case. A lot of times, people don't know what they're doing with the camera. And it happens a lot. So I'm telling you right now, when I make my movie, we ain't doing that. Okay, we're going to take our time. I'm going to actually expose my images properly. We're going to have VFX that you can see. We're going to have artists working on the VFX, and they're going to be appreciated. Just saying. Put my flag in the sand on that one. That one we covered together, Man-Thing, was pretty bad. Yeah, so yeah, we did. Yeah, I guess I didn't even count that. But you're right, the Man-Thing was pretty bad. Anthony and I, you can go on his channel, we reviewed Man-Thing. And yeah, that movie was not good. That didn't even make it on my radar, but yeah, you're right, that movie was pretty bad. We got 8 votes. We got 8 votes now with the chat poll. Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, is still at the top. Still at the top with the 38. So I think a lot of people are on our side, right? Hope for life. I think a lot of people agree with us here. A lot of people, like a ton of people. 8 people. But all of these 8 people agree. So that's cool. Let's go to the next movie. Let's see here. Let's see, what are we talking about next? The Batman. We got the Batman here. So the Batman Part 2, let's talk about this a little bit. And let me see your guys' thoughts on this. So the Batman 2, I don't know how you guys feel about the Batman. I don't know if you liked the Batman. I think it's kind of a pretty, I think people enjoy it. I think people like it, but you never know. I thought it was pretty awesome. Definitely doesn't touch Christopher Nolan, but I thought it was a good swing. I thought it was a really great, it was a nice attempt. I think, and most people are like, why do we need, why are we rebooting? That's one thing that I absolutely hate, is when people go, why are we getting another Batman? Why are we getting another Superman? It's like, because these are IPs, these are intellectual properties that companies own. And if they don't make movies, they don't make money. Okay, a lot of these studios, the reason that they exist is because these are popular characters. Okay? And if they don't make movies, they lose the rights to these characters. And these are some of the most popular characters in modern history. So, of course, like we're gonna be getting Batman until the day that I am no longer on the planet. You know, until I'm not existing anymore. And that's just something you gotta accept. Okay? Because, and a lot of times, this is a big difference I think people don't really get, is these movies weren't possible back in the day. That's why they weren't around. Okay? Visual effects wasn't up to snuff. Okay? The technology wasn't there to bring a lot of these heroes to life. Now, we have the ability to do that. And so, it's kind of like Pandora's box. So once you've opened Pandora's box, you know, the floodgates are open. So it's like, you know, we're going to get it. And that's fine with me, because each generation is going to take the character and do their own thing with the character. It's just like comic books. There's a million different variations of Batman. And you are in control of what you put in front of your eyeballs. So if you don't want to watch it, don't go see it. You know, I don't understand people that complain about reboots or like remakes. Remakes I understand, because remakes don't really make any sense to me, because remakes are like a one for one retelling of the exact, like the Lion King. It's like, why did we remake that? Well, I know why they remade it. They remade it because they needed the technology. And that's a huge thing too, is a lot of times we get movies because the industry is developing a certain technology, and so you need some sort of product and some sort of project to test out the technology, right? Because the company goes, well, what are you going to make for us? Like, okay, you're R&Ding the animals, you know, you're R&Ding the first simulation. All of that is important to the industry, and so they need projects to push all of that research forward, right? And an excuse to do all of that. Hope for Life. You say, I'm excited to see this. However, I'm assuming you're talking about Batman. I'm more excited for Brave and the Bold, since we get the fantastical elements. Yeah, I agree. It's been a long time since we've seen that, which I feel Batman has been missing for a long time. Like maybe Poison Ivy comes back. That's what I'm saying. I think, you know, and that's going to separate James Gunn even further, right? From Matt Reeves and from Christopher Nolan. We've lived in the realistic Batman for a long time. Okay, Batman Begins came out in 2005. Okay, I was there. I remember that. I was anticipating even that movie. Believe it or not. Okay, just like we anticipate movies today, I was anticipating Batman Begins. I was anticipating Superman Returns back in 2006. Been in the anticipation game for a long time here, friends. But anyways, Hope for Life, you are correct. Not that you could be wrong. It's your opinion. Okay, people that have opinions are not wrong or right. But in this case, I agree with you that we are going to get the fantastical. And I think that is so much of what Batman is. And I think to strip some of that away that we've seen in recent movies, and honestly, I think it makes it tough. It makes it tough to make an interesting Batman film. And I'm wondering, because again, this movie has taken forever to get a script, to get a finalized script, and to be put in production. I mean, we're not going to see this thing until 2026? Are you kidding me? And it's a grounded Batman. That's the universe they've set up. It's a grounded Batman. So that means, just statistically, that means that it's less work than the fantastical Batman. So why is it taking so long? Well, it's taking so long because by being so real world, you have put yourself in a box where it's like, okay, I can't use this villain. I can't use this character. I can't use Poison Ivy. I can only use the Penguin, and I can use the Joker, but the Joker can't do certain Joker things, and maybe we're not going to do two. I don't know. But you know what you see what I'm saying, where it's like, I think it just makes it harder. So I'm excited to see what the Brave and the Bold brings to the table. And we're going to get the Bat family, right? We're going to get Damian Wayne. And that's something new, right? We've never seen Batman deal with being a father on the big screen. I hope that whoever they cast as Batman, I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know what my opinion is on that, right? It's an older Batman, which I'm okay with. I'm like, all right, that's cool. So and I like that dynamic of having a slightly older Batman with a younger Clark Kent, right? Clark, I think David Cornsweet's what, like 32, 31? So he's like almost my age pretty much. So I like that idea of having Batman be older, and just that dynamic that creates between the two, Superman and Batman, in that world. I think that'll be cool, especially when we get them in scenes together, and Batman is going to do one thing one way, and Superman is going to say, no, I think we should do this, right? Like, you're a little old, you're a little jaded, Bruce. I think we should probably go this way. And kind of, maybe the Justice Society or the Justice League or whatever they form, maybe there's scenes where the team is split, and some people side with Superman, some of the groups side with Batman, and see how that goes. And I guess that's kind of what I mentioned that in my top 8 review. I said I want to see a Superman that actually interacts with heroes, and I got some pushback that they're like, oh, we've seen him interact with heroes, and I'm like, not really. Not in the way that I want. Because again, Superman was dead. Superman died for a good majority of the Snyderverse. Unfortunately, I think Henry Cavill is probably one of the best Supermen that we've ever had. He just wasn't given a lot to do. And they killed him off. Like, why? Like, Why'd you kill him off? I don't know. Mismanaged, man. I just can't. I don't know. Let's see. Hope for Life. You say Batman also has not had a Robin since Clooney and Chris O'Donnell, which I feel is why Batman has been grounded ever since. Yeah, I think Hollywood is scared to do a Robin, and I think Damian Wayne allows them, kind of gives them a way to do that where it's not like creepy, right? Just based on the history of, because Damian wants to, is rebellious, and that just makes it interesting. Whereas the other one is like, oh, you are an orphan and your parents died in the circus. So come out with me every night as a 12-year-old, and I'm not, I might put your life in danger. I just don't know how that works on the big screen. But I think there might be a way with Damian and also the other Bat family. If we get a Nightwing, which I don't know. What do you guys think of? I'm curious. Dylan O'Brien as Nightwing. What do you think about that? I really like Dylan O'Brien as an actor, and I saw that floated probably a week ago. Somebody said that Dylan O'Brien as Nightwing would be really cool, and I was like, that actually might work. I actually might be down for that one. So let me know what you think, if that is something that you think could be a possibility. I think that would be awesome. At least be somebody. I think they should get him in the DCU because I think he's a great actor. We got 10 votes. We got 10. We hit the 10. I don't even know how many likes we have. We got 7 likes. I feel like the likes should be a little higher than 7. Come on. We're having a good discussion here. But 10 votes, and Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow is still the top winner. The top of dog. What are we at? 8:12. We've been going for what, about an hour? We'll keep going. But yeah, I don't know what the story of the Batman Part 2 is going to be. I don't know the villain. It'd be interesting maybe to see a Two-Face. I have no idea. I got no clue. You know, obviously there's been rumors of Mr. Freeze. I don't know if that's possible. That's a real fantastical villain. I don't know. And can Matt Reeves pull it off? Can Matt Reeves make a good part 2? I don't know. I have no idea. There's been rumors that the Court of Owls is like being a part of it, which would be cool. I'd be down for that. That's intriguing and interesting to explore. But I agree with Hope for Life here, where it's like, once The Brave and the Bold comes on, which I've heard absolutely no. I wish we would get a release date for that. We haven't heard anything about it, so I'm kind of, you know, it's like, what, you know, I would love an update on The Brave and the Bold. It's like, because they're like, oh, Andy Muschietti, which is the director of the It Chapter 1 and Chapter 2, and then he did The Flash. But I excuse him for that because The Flash was made during the pandemic and all sorts of stuff. And basically anybody that had to make something through the pandemic, I kind of give them a little bit of a pass, because I'm like, yeah, because the industry changed a whole lot during that time. They had like safety officers come on board, and there were a bunch of like restrictions, and like filming, when you're trying to film actors and you have to stay 6 feet apart, like, come on, man. So I give a lot of those productions that happen around that time, I give them a pass, and I don't look at any of those people and like, oh, you suck. You know, oh, you suck as a film. Now, if the story's garbage, then that's the writer's fault. And it, you know, all you got to do is sit at your desk to write. So if the story's bad, that's writing, or sometimes executive producers or whatever. That can be their fault. Let's see, Ray J365, what up? This is a dope channel. Can't wait for the growth. Man, that's awesome. That makes me so happy. I'm glad to have you here, man. You know, I thought about bringing the live streams back, and I wanted to do them. I don't know how often I'm going to do them, but if people would really enjoy this, and if people love to have this kind of chill conversation, we can do this more often. I'm totally down. It all just depends on, we got 44 views. So like, we just rocking it. We're just moving. So I'm excited, man. And like I said, if you weren't here before, it's a mixture of like movie news, but I'm also a filmmaker. So like, we're going to make movies on the channel. I want to fund that. I want us to be a community kind of growing like a studio type thing, or whatever it's going to become. But we're actually going to make movies here. Like, that's my goal. I'm a filmmaker. I want to write movies. I want to make movies. I want to talk about the things I love. I want to talk about movies. And people, you're welcome. You know what I'm saying? You know, all opinions are, as long as you're not, you got to be nice, right? Don't put anybody down. You can have your opinion, okay? I believe completely in free speech, all right? You are able to say whatever you want to, as long as you're not threatening anybody. Don't threaten anybody, especially on the internet. That just makes you look like a douchebag, so don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Be nice. And if you don't, and you know what, and the thing is with like movies, you have your opinion, right? So, and there have been people that have come on and been like, I don't like James Gunn. I hate James Gunn. I'm like, all right, cool. Like, I don't hate James Gunn. But if you are like, I don't like his movies and I'm afraid of what he's going to do with the DC characters. Okay, then express your opinion. Because I'm curious. What makes you apprehensive about it? I want to know. Right? Because, and then it'll be interesting, because if I can hear your opinion, then I can go watch the movie with your opinion in mind and go, oh, what he thought or what he or she thought was going to happen actually happened. That's interesting. Okay? So, I don't know. All that to say, man, it's like everybody's pretty much welcome here. Okay? We don't play the gatekeeping. I don't like that. I don't like to tell people that their opinion of movies is wrong, because art is subjective. And the only thing that I think about really is like good stories are good stories. And if you're trying to put an agenda before your story, then that's where I think we fail a lot with these modern movies. I think there's a lot of stuff that's pushed, or studios are just listening to things that they shouldn't be listening to, right? And they're trying to cater their movie to appeal to something, but then it just becomes pandering, and it's like, then it becomes meaningless art, and it's like, well, why are we doing this? You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's just how I feel. Let's see. Ray J 365 says, love the discourse, my guy. I love DC, Marvel, and films in general, and this is right up my alley. Well, you know what? Batman's parents were also taken out in an alley. I don't know why I brought that up, but they were. So, I don't know. That relates to what we're doing. That was really random. But I'm glad that you have found the channel. I think these streams are pretty beneficial for everybody. And like I said, I want to bring you guys into the making of my movie, right? And kind of being able to take, right, like we watch movies, we watch the popular IPs, we watch the stuff that we love, and to be able to translate some of that maybe into my own work, and to see that, right, and talk about things that we really love about a movie specifically, and things that we don't want to do into the production of my film, which you guys can, again, help create, and like a legit movie. This isn't, you know, and the most, I think, you know, I've talked to some people like, oh, I'm making a movie, but like, no, I know actual cinematographers, I know actual sound designers that work in Hollywood, like, and I would love to get the budget to be able to hire the people that I know. They're expensive, okay? They're expensive. They're cinematographers that shoot commercials and, you know, shoot short films and kind of do, you know, mid-budget commercial, but they're not cheap. And I would like to be able to work with my friends who are damn talented, okay? And we can all just kind of make something that's fun, right? And something that everybody can be proud of, like even you guys, because if I write the script on the channel and you guys are able to see the development of it and you guys can contribute your ideas to it, I think that'd be cool. There have been many things like this that I've had in my head where I'm like, you know what? We should just do this. Like, we should just make the movie on the stream. You know what I'm saying? We should just put the creative process out there because I think people would be interested in it. And I have been told my entire life that people like to hear me talk about movies. So I figured, why not just do it in a public forum? Like, why not? But anyways, we're sitting here at 47 views. Rock on, and we got 10 likes. I love it. And we got 11 votes. And it looks like, oh my goodness. Guys, the Batman 2 and Supergirl are tied. Oh, Batman 2 is coming up. Is that just, and it's interesting, is that just because he's on the screen? Is that because that's the graphic that's on the screen? Is that why he has jumped in the poll? I wonder. We're at 48 views. If you are the 48th view and you've just come in, welcome. You're brand new here. You're welcome here as long as you're nice. As long as you're nice. Let's see. Let's go on to the next one. Doomsday. Doomsday. What do we think about Doomsday? All right, I'm going to tell you right now, this one is probably my least excited. We talked about this a little bit at the beginning of the stream. It's my least excited because we've seen everything. Not everything. I don't know. I just don't know what they're doing. And it seems a little desperate. It seems a little desperate. I'm going to be honest. There are so many other great actors that they could have gotten to play Victor Von Doom, I'm just like, when that announcement happened, I was like, oh, okay, what, like, all right. And then the Russo brothers were like, there's only one man that can play Victor Von Doom. And then he walks out on stage, and it's like, okay. So it seems like a little bit of a marketing move. Obviously, it's not a surprise that Marvel movies aren't doing very well, and they need a big move like this in order to get people interested, and in order to get people's butts back in the seat, and to make money. So it's not lost on me that this is a marketing move. Will they be able to make it work? I have no idea, guys. I mean, you guys got to let me know, because I mean, it was interesting at the time when they announced him. I was like, whoa, that's a bold move. I don't necessarily know if it's going to pay off at all. I really have no idea. We got a caller. Hello.
I don't know. Hello?
Hello. Can you
Hello?
can you turn me down in the background?
Hello? Should I go away from my TV? Is it on a delay?
Yeah, a little bit. If you could walk away from your TV, that'd be cool.
Okay, I just did. Here's my question for you.
Yeah, can you
What do you think?
can you say your name?
Go ahead.
Just your first name.
Yeah,
just
my
so I
name
know
is Ken.
Your name is what? I'm sorry.
Ken, K-E-N.
Ken. Ken? All right. How you doing, Ken?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, man. I'm doing pretty good. I'm excited that you called in. You're the first caller that I've ever had, so I appreciate it.
Okay, no worries. I just found you a couple days ago, and I just caught your live stream. I usually don't watch the live streams, but I'm very interested. You're just beginning this, aren't you? Isn't this the beginning of your journey?
Yeah, pretty much. In terms of YouTube and in terms of this, we are pretty brand new here. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, good luck with it. Here's my question now.
Yeah.
What do you think in terms, because you're talking about Avengers Doomsday, right? That's your latest topic that you're currently talking about, correct?
Yep.
Okay. How do you think Doctor Doom is going to fare up against how popular, because my favorite character of all time is Thanos. No one's ever going to compare to him to me, but I'm just curious how the next big villain's going to end or land when it comes to Avengers, how he's going to portray and how he's going to stand up to Thanos, just because everybody has all those great expectations, because Infinity War and Endgame both landed like they probably could never believe in their wildest dreams. How are they going to replicate that, especially with the new big bad? What do you think is going to happen?
I think you're right. I don't think they're going to ever be able to match it. I think they're going to, and that's kind of my fear, if I'm being completely honest. I think they're going to throw everything that they possibly can at the kitchen sink, and I don't know if anything's ever going to be able to match Endgame and Infinity War. They can try, but I don't like, and you could do some interesting stuff. I think creating the dynamic of a Peter Parker having to face off against a Tony Doom, right? Like, that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, because it's like you have that send-off with how he died, how he watched him, and then you're going to have him paired up against, he's the big villain now. He looks just like the guy that mentored me, and then he has to deal with, now you're like a Thanos-level threat, and it turns everything on its head. They're already in talks to bring Thanos back, so they could bring Thanos back and have him play a heroic role. I mean, they could flip everything on its head and have Thanos from a different universe play. Yeah. They'd come to him and he'd be on the hero side this time. He'd be against Doom. Or he could be with Doom, but I think it'd be more interesting if he was more of a hero this side, because you're having Robert Downey Jr. play the villain this time.
Right. Well, and you bring up the Thanos thing, and do you know that Josh Brolin was approached to play Hal Jordan?
Yes, I do know that.
Right.
He turned down the role. And
Exactly.
are they thinking, yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Well, try not to listen to too many rumors because I'm more of a Marvel fan than DC, so I don't want to get too spoiled. But just knowing what an actor is going to be, you're going to find that out anyways, well before a preview comes out. But I try to not pay attention to the spoilers going on, like there's Superman leaks going on for the movie, and I'll listen to certain things like some of the villains that have come out. I've seen some of the photos, but if it gets too deep into it, I try to avoid those kind of YouTube topics altogether. Because I think there's all kinds of leaks in this day and time we're living in.
Oh, yeah,
and I
for
think
sure.
a lot of us want a preview of it, but a lot of us also don't want to have the movie entirely ruined before we go see it because that would piss a lot of us off.
Yeah, I think it's tough for some. I mean, I'd like to know some of that stuff, right? I'm kind of like you. It's like I pick and choose what I want to hear, and if it becomes too much, then I back away, and I'm like, all right, I don't want to. You know, I used to be bad. I used to know everything, and then I go into movies and I'd be like, I knew everything that was going to happen. I think for like The Amazing Spider-Man 2, I remember that, and like I feel like I knew everything about that movie, and then when I went to go see it, I wasn't excited about it because I was like, oh, I knew everything that was going to happen. So I think it was right around that time where I stopped doing that. But yeah, I think we're going to have probably Thanos is coming back for sure at some point. I would think that's happening at some point.
I'm excited and I'm kind of disappointed because I love everything about him in these last two movies. And when something's perfect, I'd rather just leave it alone. But I know when something's that perfect and that popular, studios about making money, so they'd be foolish to not bring Thanos back, especially when you do the multiverse thing. When you can bring back you have a literal excuse built into the movie. You can bring back anybody, have them slightly different, and make it more interesting this time around. I have there's so many thoughts and so much excitement I have for it. But like you said, and like I agree, they already landed on the moon once with Infinity War and Endgame. Yep. They can't land on the moon and make it exciting the second time. I don't think that's just how our minds work. No matter what they do, they're gonna blame it on nostalgia and everything else. That's what they're going for. So I don't think it'll land as well. But it could still land well. It could still 1.5 billion, I think, would still be a success from the studio. Doesn't have to hit 2 billion or close to 3 billion like Endgame made for it to not be considered a failure.
Right. Well, you bring up a good point that I haven't really discussed yet, is what makes a movie successful, right? And that is also subjective, right? That means different things to different people. So it's like, there's the financial success, but then it's like, or just be a good movie, you know what I'm saying? Or just have, certain character interactions or certain character storylines that are intriguing. And it's like, oh, okay, that makes it a good movie. Whereas like, if you're just going to do something dumb, then it's like, well, or undercut a potential of a character, then it's going to piss a lot of people off. And people will be like, oh, well, that was a waste of my 2 hours, and so to them it might not be successful, but it's all subjective. So some people might like the fact that Thanos is coming back. Some people might hate it. I don't know. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. I would love it if he came back, because I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's a conclusion. I heard a rumor that they were bringing back 60 plus characters in one of these films. I don't know how true or not true that is, but that's a whole lot of characters, because I think they said there was only 30-some in Endgame or something like that. I can't remember the official number.
Something like that.
There were in Endgame, so you figure we have so many more characters that were introduced in Phase 4 and 5.
Yeah.
So you could bring back and you're going to bring back the Spiderman, I'm sure. You're probably going to you could bring back X-Men characters if you want to.
Oh,
you
dude, I totally forgot about the X-Men, bro. Oh, I totally forgot about that. That's going to be incredible. That's going to be awesome. Sorry. I totally forgot that the X-Men were even going to be a thing. Oh, I love it. I love it.
Decide to do an Avengers versus X-Men movie, that's going to blow people's minds. I just hope we can make it long enough to where this thing doesn't fail, because eventually nothing lasts forever, and I don't know how much longer this can last to where the weight of the worlds and the MCU and stuff like that. They're already how many movies are they in so far? Are they close to 30 or are they past 30 now?
I think
They're probably
I think we've hit 30. Aren't we at like 32 or something like that?
I think we're past 30 as well. I just don't know exactly. But
Yeah.
eventually this thing dry up and they're going to have to start over. I just don't know how they're going to do that. I just hope they don't flop bad enough where they eventually abandon that.
I'm curious if you've experienced this. I know I have, where, I have had people come to me and be like, I really would like to get into it doesn't happen so much anymore, but it used to, like around right after Endgame, people would be like, oh, I really want to watch the Marvel movies, but there's so many that I don't know where to start, and it's a little daunting. And so I think they've run into that issue of people just think it's a chore now. People think it's like homework. And I don't know how they get around that.
Yeah, especially the TV stuff. So there's rumors in that Secret Wars is going to set up the Great Reset, which as long as it does well, I'm okay with that. Then you can bring the X-Men in and kind of start over with most. I mean, you can reset it however you want. You can write it however you want. So you can really start, I guess, anew again, have everything still count, and have the events of all that's happened and where you literally start with a clean slate and you're moving forward from there. And then the X-Men, the Avengers all over again, however they're going to want to do it. Because eventually you're going to hit a point, I think with the homework thing you talked about, it, the TV shows that really were it was just too much homework to keep track. And when the TV shows tied into the movies, people didn't like it. Because before it seemed like you could watch Infinity War without watching any of the other movies and you'd be fine. Like all the movies from phase 1 through 3, you could probably watch and just enjoy it on its own. But after you started with WandaVision and stuff like that, they did enough stuff to where you probably had to watch that before you watched Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, things like that. So where I think it drove people a little crazy because you were making them watch all these TV shows, and I didn't like a lot of the TV shows too. I'd rather than just stick with films altogether. We're not going to do that, but films to me, it's top dollar.
Yeah.
It's shorter, it's more condensed, and it's easier to keep track of than when you do all these TV series. But I know it's a business, so they need content for Disney Plus, so they're not.
Yeah, and a lot of time, what happened, I think they've changed it now, but in the early days of Disney Plus, there was no Marvel television, real television division. It was a lot of people from the movies, and they were just going over and trying to make television. But they didn't, television is a specific kind of way of doing things, right? You come up in the business being a television writer specifically. You go to school to learn how to write for television, right, or to write for broadcast, and that's very different from writing a movie script. And so I think a lot of times when the Disney Plus launched, it was just moving a lot of the movie guys over to making television, and they just didn't have a lot of experience with that. And I think we can see it in the product. I think that's what happened.
Yeah, that's what happened because they said the mandate too at the time was from Dave Chapek because he was the CEO, and it was to just turn out as much content as soon as possible because his philosophy was the more content we have, the better we are for Disney Plus. So it was probably a combination of that, and they're churning out these shows as quickly as they can, which you're going to forgo quality if you're just going to try to churn out as fast as you can.
Yeah, for sure.
So, well, thanks for taking my call, though. Are you going to be doing these live shows more often?
Oh, yeah, I probably will. I don't know how often I will do them just because I don't know, I got a busy schedule. I'd like to actually produce other, videos for the actual channel and stuff. But I mean, here's a question, since you are the first caller, how often would you tune into a show like this?
I would if it was once a week, I think that's good to start off with, and if you would grow from there, and it would build a bigger thing. I think once a week, something to look forward to if you had it scheduled. I don't know if you want to do Friday nights or if you had a particular night that was more up your alley. Maybe you go out typically on a Friday night and you don't want to set it on this day. But if you stick with something and get your viewers used to that, I think they'd like that. If you could do that, have a weekly thing or you make an announcement.
Okay.
And that's what I would.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, well, I didn't even think about the Friday thing about people kind of going out and not really being at home. You make a good point about that. So maybe I picked the wrong day. So maybe we need to pick a different day that makes a little bit more sense. But yeah, for sure. I
Maybe
appreciate the
Sunday night.
feedback.
Yeah, Sunday night maybe.
I could do that. Yeah, I could do
But then
that.
again, you have you're never going to find a perfect night because there's always going to be something else. And I
Right.
think right now you're off, and I just think if you pick a day that's best for you, and that I think people like if you build an audience, they'll find you and they'll follow you as best they can. Especially if maybe a weekday would probably be best because most people are home like at night or something like that. If you're not working or that,
Right.
I think that would just as long as you just make us aware of what night it is, what day of the week it is. I think people get used to it and they'll look forward to it. I will.
Cool. Awesome, dude.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. You're the first caller that I've ever I had this idea because, the chat is cool and everything, but I was like, would it be fun to actually talk to the people that are watching the videos and the people that are on the channel? And I don't know, I thought it was a fun idea. And so I decided to throw the number up there and you were the first caller. So I will always remember this. I will always remember this. It's a big moment. So I appreciate you calling.
Cherry then. I thought you're calling Cherry, didn't I?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Me and my buddies did this a couple of years ago. We did like TikTok and stuff like that with movie reviews. We fell off and we didn't all stick with it, but it's fun at the beginning and stuff like that. I don't know how we eventually fell off with it, but making the videos, coming up with the stuff, it's so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
But like anything else, you'll lose the thrill probably sooner or later. But if you're really that passionate about making movies, this is something you're going to stick with, especially if that's what you want to do with your career. I don't know if this is just a hobby for you, or if it's your life.
Doing this is kind of a hobby, but it's obviously turned into something maybe a little bit more permanent. The channel just kind of had a mini blow up in like the last month, and I'm just kind of shocked. So, because I was doing like live streams where we would talk about movie news. I started the channel in like 2021, and for some reason, I was talking with some buddies, and it just never took off. And so I took a year off, almost a year off, like 11 months, where I didn't post anything. And literally in September, I started talking about Superman, and it just seems like the channel is like growing like crazy right now. So I'm just trying to ride the wave, I guess, and just be like, oh, this is cool.
Ride it as long as you can, and that's what I mean. We took time off, and I'm tempted to tell my buddy at the start of next year to give it another whirl, stuff like that, because with TikTok, the content's a lot shorter, and it's easier to edit the videos. I didn't help him with the editing and stuff like that, and I just think he burnt out because he has a full-time job, and he couldn't sustain it. Yeah, I think he eventually just fizzled out with his passion for it, but
Yeah.
it's so much fun stuff. And I'll keep in tune with you, and I think the Superman stuff, I hope the movie succeeds. I hate Superman with a passion, but I want him to succeed.
Oh, that's interesting. Oh, yeah, you definitely got to stay. You got to stay engaged on the channel. That's interesting that you actively hate Superman. I'm curious to hear. I want to know now. I want to know your opinion when the movie comes out, man. You definitely have to call back and let us know what you think of the movie.
I have a feeling I hope it's going to be good because it's James Gunn, but I'm going to hate watch. I like to argue who's going to win and stuff like that. Part of the thing we tried to do was versus. So I think it's fun to take it from the hypothetical. If these characters met in a fictional universe, who would win based off like what happens in their own movies based off the evidence? I think it's fun to argue that stuff.
That is fun. That is cool. Yeah, I would watch that. Bring that back. I would watch that stuff. That'd be cool.
Yeah. So me and my buddy we always set up an idea we were going to do Thanos versus Superman, and he thought I was crazy for thinking Thanos was going to win. I think he's crazy because I'm like, Superman got beat by Batman. And I know there's reasons why he lost, but the reasons why Thanos lost too. But I just think Superman always gets hit in a fight, no matter how fast he is. And just like with that, it's just going to end up being a slugfest like it is with most movies and stuff like that. I just think, I don't know, I'm rambling right now. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Yeah, but thanks for taking my call.
Of course, of course. I'm. Thank you for calling. I appreciate it.
Will you make an announcement very soon what day you're thinking about doing the live stream, or are you not, you're possibly not going to do that?
No,
That's
yeah,
good.
I'll make an announcement. I think these are going to be things that we do, if not weekly, maybe every other week to start. But I will.
Okay.
I'll definitely pick a day. I will do some thinking on it, and I'll pick a day. And yeah, we might start. We might do it every other week, probably to start.
Okay. Okay. Well, thank you very much, and you have a good night, Tyler.
You too. Thank you.
Okay. Bye.
Bye bye. All right, guys. Well, that was our first caller ever. That was Ken. Thank you, Ken, for coming through. I appreciate that. That was wild to have somebody like interested in talking to me, right? For like out in the internet webs. That was amazing that somebody cared enough to call. So I appreciate that. Yeah, if you guys want to call and have a conversation like that, totally down. Totally down. This is, again, you are welcome. If you hate Superman, just because I'm wearing a Superman shirt, doesn't mean I'm going to tell you, that you can't call in. You can call in if you hate Superman. That's fine. Different opinions are welcome on this channel. Let's see. What else we got? I mean, we kind of talked a little bit about Doomsday with Ken. So I don't know how to feel about this. If we go back to the post or the poll, we got 12 votes. Looks like Superman. I keep saying Superman. Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, has pulled away with the lead. So that's pretty cool. We're at 60 views, 11 likes. Did somebody unlike the like button? Come on now. What the? That's ridiculous. Somebody said that they liked this, but then said that they didn't like it. Okay. Well, I appreciate your engagement anyways. Let's see. We got Doomsday. I don't know how I feel about Doomsday. I'm intrigued about Doomsday, but like what? How are they going to, I don't know. How are they going to do the Doctor Doom? And you're like, that's one of the biggest characters in Marvel history. And you're just going to take a swing and you're just like, yeah, we're going to make this Robert Downey Jr. Excuse me? And then you're going to be on the stage at San Diego Comic-Con and you're going to stand there and say, this is the only man that can play this character. Really? I don't know about that. I don't believe that. I just don't believe that. Don't believe that at all. Don't believe it. Don't believe it at all. Let's see. It's almost 9 o'clock. I think we'll go until 9. Let's go until 9 o'clock. Let's wrap it up. Well, sort of kind of wrap it up here. But yeah, we'll talk about Supergirl. So Millie Alcock she's the Game of Thrones, or House of Dragon, sorry. House of Dragon. She's cast as Supergirl in James Gunn's DCU. We have the Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, which is based off of a graphic novel, I believe. I have not read it. Like I said, we'll probably do I'll probably read it and review, or we can read it on a stream maybe. I don't know. Who knows? Let's see. Let me read the synopsis. Nope, that's not what I wanted. I'm trying to get it. Let's see. I just want like the synopsis of the book. Graphic novel. Whoops. Let's see. Woman of Tomorrow. There's no like synopsis. Barnes and Noble. Let's see. Kara Zor-El has seen some epic adventures over the years, but she now finds her life without meaning or purpose. Here she is, a young woman who saw her planet destroyed and was sent to Earth to protect a baby cousin who ended up not needing her. What was it all for? Wherever she goes, people only see her through the lens of Superman's fame. Just when Supergirl thinks she's had enough, everything changes. An alien girl seeks her out for a vicious mission. Her world has been destroyed, and the bad guys responsible are still out there. She's Kryptonian, a dog. Oh wait, what? Oh, she wants revenge, and if Supergirl doesn't help her, she'll do it herself, whatever the cost. Now a Kryptonian, a dog, and an angry, heartbroken child head out into space on a journey that will shake them to their very core. Sounds pretty cool. That's the graphic novel synopsis overview of The Woman of Tomorrow, which is what James Gunn is basing the movie on. So that sounds pretty cool. That sounds pretty rock and roll. The art is pretty sick. And I think Millie Alcock as Supergirl is an inspired casting choice. I think that's pretty awesome. And I don't know, I think James Gunn is on the move. James Gunn is making the right moves, man. We'll have to see. I don't know if anyone is anybody watching currently? If you're still watching, go ahead, say something. I don't know, 4 concurrent viewers, is that what, I don't know, I think people are still here. I appreciate it if you are still here. But yeah, that's what Supergirl is going to be like. Like I said, I think it's going to be a battle between, well, maybe, I mean, again, Supergirl is, to wrap it up, Supergirl is the most interesting one, is the most intriguing. Obviously, the question is, what's going to be the best movie? And I think that means in terms of, like, story, right? Like, what movie are we going to watch and be like, yeah, that was the best made movie overall? I think Supergirl has the ability to be just that. I think it's fresh, it's new, and they can make a really special story here. One that I know, and I know a lot of females, a lot of girls probably want to see a Supergirl movie, right? We haven't really gotten one, so that's going to be huge. So if they play their cards right, that probably could win. The Batman 2 also, if it's written very, very, very well, could also be a possible contender. Spider-Man 4 and Avengers Doomsday. If Disney doesn't shake it up, and if Disney doesn't do something different, right? And if it's just the same old stuff, I don't know. I don't really see how they can really pull it off in terms of being the best of the summer. And what's good, and this is what I'm hoping, to wrap it up, I'll leave you with this. I'm hoping that by the DCU coming into fruition, that it puts pressure on Marvel to really step it up, right? To really think out their universe and not just, and stop throwing stuff at the wall. Because now they have competition. You know, since Iron Man in 2008, they have been able to dominate the land of superhero movies. But now DC is coming right on their coattails. And it's got James Gunn in the driver's seat. And I think James Gunn has a game plan, right? James Gunn isn't going to. I think he wants to beat Marvel at their own game, and that's exciting. We need competition. We need people that are story focused, like Gunn is, because, like I said in my top 8 video, it's on the channel. You can go check it out. Top 8 reasons why James Gunn will succeed with Superman. He is a filmmaker. He is a writer, director. He is an artist. He is a filmmaker in charge of a studio. And that's never really happened before. We've gotten executives who have gone to Harvard and who have Harvard degrees but have known nothing about storytelling, running companies. But this is different. And I think, and everything I've heard about, we're blocking the number, but that's okay. Everything I've heard about Superman is that it's awesome. And James Gunn knocked it out of the park. So we'll have to see. It is officially November 1st, guys. We are moving right along. I mean, I'm telling you, man, we're going to get Superman marketing is coming. Okay? Rumor has it that we are going to get the Superman trailer in December. So you better believe that I'm going to do a video reaction of the trailer, and then we are going to be doing a live stream that night. I guarantee you, whatever night that is that we get that trailer, you got to come back here. This is the place to be, because we're going to be breaking down the trailer, okay? We're going to be going frame by frame. We're going to go frame by frame and break this trailer down, okay? So you're going to want to be here for that, because we're going to have a lot to discuss and a lot to talk about, I guarantee you. John Quinn, welcome. He says we are definitely getting the first teaser in December at CCXP. I agree with you. I agree with you. Hopefully, but this is my thing. Are we going to get it? Or are the people at CCXP just going to get the footage? Right? Are we just going to get, you know, how they write up whatever the footage is? Like, are we going to actually get it? I hope that we actually get it. I'll be very sad. Be very, very sad. I'll be very sad if we don't get to see the footage. I'll be like, come on. Come on. You know what I'm saying? And I would think that Gunn would want everybody to see it. Because I don't know. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I hope that we get it. I hope that I don't have to watch a leaked version of it, because I've seen leaked versions of some other things, and I'm like, oh, that was cool to see. But why not just release it to the public? I get it. You want to create a special thing for the people that showed up, but I don't know. I hope we get it. I hope that our eyeballs can see it. And like I said, we will be breaking it down, guys. We will be breaking it down here on the channel. I will obviously do my reaction. I took a poll the other day about doing, if people wanted to see me do movie reviews, and it seemed like a majority of you guys want to see me do movie reviews. So I will be doing those. I'm going to be working on my review for the first Christopher Reeve Superman movie from 1978. Obviously, I've seen it before many, many, many times. But I took a poll, and you guys want to see that one, so I will do a review on that one. It'll be a longer form. You guys also said you want to see longer form content, so I'm going to be working on that. I'll probably make the reviews a little longer. I don't know, maybe 25, 30. I don't know what technically considered long form is, but we can figure that out, and you guys can give me feedback and let me know. Let's see, John, what else do you say? We probably will, because it'll be like 2014, 2015 day, or I'm sorry, 214 or 215 days away from the release of Superman. Yeah, I would think that is the case. And if you've noticed about the Superman marketing, each photo that we've gotten of Superman, he's been sitting down on his butt, and I think that is intentional. I think they got something up their sleeve to where we actually see him take flight for the first time, and we actually see him flying. I think James Gunn has done that on purpose, to where every time we've seen David Cornsweat's Superman, he's sitting down. I think that was done on purpose. So I'm interested. I'm interested to see it. I'm a little scared, because I'm like, oh, what if I see it and I don't like it? That's a very big possibility. It's something I'm going to leave you guys here. While I'm sitting here talking to you guys about these things that I love, I will also tell you my honest opinion. If I see something and I go, ooh, I don't like this. This didn't hit me the way that I wanted it to, or I didn't like the way that this was cut, or I don't like the vibe. I don't like what this looks like. This doesn't look good to me. I will let you know my honest opinion. So even though I'm loving on all of it, which I'm loving on all of it right now because we haven't seen anything. But if the trailer's underwhelming, if the movie's underwhelming, I'll let you know. I'll let you know how it hits me. And I will be 100% honest, because what's the point? I'm not going to, why? And that just gets exhausting. It gets exhausting if all I'm doing is like, oh, I love it, I love it, I love it, I love it. It looks great. It's like, then I just become I can't even say that word. Unauthentic. There we go. I become unauthentic, And what's the point, right? Be your authentic self. All right, John, I want to thank you for dropping in and letting and confirming that we're going to get the trailer, because I think we are. So thanks guys so much for tuning in. I want to let you guys know at the end of this that, I talked about my dreams and I talked about what I love to do. Movies are my life. Movies have been my life forever. I grew up an only child, and a lot of times it was lonely, but it wasn't lonely. I wouldn't necessarily describe it as lonely, but there were times where it was lonely, and movies were my escape. And then I became interested in movies, and then I started to make movies of my own, right? I started to film on my own, and I taught myself how to edit, and I taught myself how to film, and I've taught myself how to do VFX. And it's what I do for my 9 to 5. I'm an editor. I edit for a living. So I made my dreams come true. And if there's any kids out there, right, or young adults, or whatever age you are, I want you to know that, like, you can do it, man. Man, woman, child, whatever you are. Dream big. That's what this is, right? That's what this stands for, is hope. And not to sound corny, but like, I think we need a little bit of that. And you guys have, the support here is wild to me. And it I don't know, it makes me happy, and it makes me feel like I'm doing something important. It becomes a little bit more, right? It's like I'm taking my love of all of this stuff, and I'm able to share it with people. And I think that that's important. So we're here, and while people might be like, well, but to me it's important. I think I found something. I found an importance to all this. Before it was like I was doing it for fun, right? If you watch some of the past videos, it was like, oh, I'm doing this because I'm having fun. But now, I don't know, having Ken call in and having people in the chat and having the support and knowing how much that this stuff means to me. And if you know me, right, if you are watching this and you're in my life, my physical life, right, and I see you day to day, you know how much this stuff means to me. And you just know that there's a lot of people out there that this means a lot to them too. And so I'm just trying to fuse the filmmaking side with the fan side and kind of bring that together on this channel. So if you guys stuck with me, if you guys are here, I greatly appreciate it. 2025 and 2026 are going to be massive years for the DCU and the MCU. So we're going to have a lot to talk about. Like, there's going to be no shortage of stuff to talk about, and I'm a huge Daredevil fan, so I'm excited for Daredevil to come out and come back, because I miss the Daredevil show. So I'm excited for Born Again. I'm excited. Lots of reviews, lots of fun stuff to talk about. The DCU's coming around the corner. Thank you guys so much. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead, hit the subscribe button and hit that like button. It really helps out the channel, guys. It grows us to infinity and beyond, right? I'm a big Toy Story guy. Love Toy Story. So let's grow the channel to infinity and beyond. We do this for the love of movies. You are all welcome here with your opinions. And yeah, man, let's just continue to love movies the way that we were born to. So that sounded really cheesy. But yeah, with that said, take care. I love movies. You guys can continue to love movies. And we'll see you later. Take care. Peace.